Hello and welcome. I'm Bev Roberts from Living Fabulously, and today I want to share answers to the most common questions about getting started with email marketing. There's lots of decisions to be made when you're in a startup online business, and some of them relate to how you create and build a subscriber list. And this is the term that we use, email marketing, which extends to the way that you reach those clients and also then nurture them and stay connected with them. One of the first questions that I often get asked is, why is email marketing important for my business? Another way of saying this is, why do I need to build my subscriber list? The first most important reason is that if you only rely on social media platforms to connect with your audience, one of two things could happen. The first is the unlikely one, which is the platform disappearing. But I think that's what people who are on MySpace didn't think, that that platform would disappear. They do come and go. The second is that your profile could get shut down on social media. And so then you have no access to the people who you've, shared amazing content with on your Facebook business page or other social media platforms that you're using. The idea is that your money is actually in your list. And the reason we say the money is in the list is because those people get to know you at a much more intimate level than they do on social media. And so for any one of you who feels private about sharing stuff, you probably filter yourself on Facebook or any of the social media platforms. Whereas in your emails, you'll feel much more open to being vulnerable and to sharing something much more deep and meaningful with your audience who have chosen to be in your audience. With the building of your list, what you're not doing is thinking that, oh, I will get them on my list in order to sell to them. That is one of the goals. But really what you're doing is you're building up a community. That community is the sense of belonging and feeling understood and heard. So that's really important when you're building your list. And it actually, that whole email marketing is the way that you are connecting with people. You can create invitations for free things like webinars, add value by sharing your blogs or podcasts or whatever it is, other content that you have, and from time to time making offers to them. So it's a beautiful way to create a connected and nurturing community by using email marketing to grow your subscriber list. The next question is, what email marketing mistakes can be avoided? Or another way you could say this is, how do I do email marketing without being a spammer? I don't know about you, but I actually have some people who send me an email, sometimes up to 4 times a week. And one of the first things I do is hit the unsubscribe button. So don't be that person who becomes the spammer in somebody's mailbox. Even if you think each thing is valuable, I would say limit your amount of contact to probably once a week. It may be different when you are doing a launch and it's the closing of the cart. You may send a couple of emails as reminders, or if it's an event and then you need to remind people to come to the event. I think that's a little different to general marketing and selling of offers. So the other thing I think, so one is, not the frequency of which you send things. The other one is the content. So the content, I think, needs to be original content for your marketing list. And the reason I say this is because a lot of your subscribers will have been following you on social media. And what they want is they want to see different content, more depth perhaps, or unique content that they get, and it makes it worth their while, so that they are, for example, reading your newsletter, and your newsletter has a good open rate. You can get the open rates for your particular industry, but what you want to be aiming for is at least 25% of the people on your mailing list opening your newsletter. If it's below that, you've got a question: is it the subject lines? Is it the content? Is it the frequency? You know, there's a number of factors that would affect that. I think the third thing to avoid there is, so we've got frequency is number one, the content is number two, and I think number three is how often you're making offers. So if you are making offers in every single thing, and that's the primary thing, and yet you give no education or no other value, people get a little bit tired of that. And I've noticed even with some of the big name players in the kind of online digital world, you know, all the entrepreneurs online, is that some of them I would actually almost classify as spammers too, because I just feel that I'm constantly being sold to. And we really don't want to create that in our community. What we want is people to feel heard and nurtured and really be able to reach out and feel valued as part of that community. It's not about not selling, it's just about knowing how much to sell. The next question I get asked a lot, because I'm working with businesses that are in startup who want to make money. Clearly, that's why we're in business. But can I do email marketing without a website? And the answer for me is a definite and resounding yes. I have a number of my clients who are in the early stages of business, so they are still working out their messaging, who their ideal target audience is. They're still working out what their offers are. And obviously, when we're in startup, we are in this phase of exploration. And so why would you make an investment in a website, which I know that probably minimal spend is $1,500? Why would you spend that $1,500 when you still don't really understand the details and the nuances of your business? So I would suggest that you use email marketing instead. So all you need basically is a place to put the promotion of your opt-in to get somebody onto your mailing list. And that could be any of your social media platforms or in the groups that you belong to. And in the groups that you belong to, you can do this by also just adding value. Keep on adding value when you're in the groups. And I think for most of my startup businesses that I work with, once they have started to communicate, create a connection, and build that community, they start to actually then hear what those people really are asking of them. What is it that they need to have solved? And then that is probably the right time to start creating the website content. That's not to say you can't have long form content. So most of us have blogs or podcasts. You can start creating content even if you publish it on social media. And then once you get to the point of having a website, you can create that content on your website and make it SEO rich so that people can find it easily and find you easily. And I think in terms of when you go with a website, that will be different for different people. But I'd say in those first few months of your startup business, focus on income generating activities. Don't focus on building your website. The next question I often get asked is, what is an email nurture sequence? Now, it's a term that people use, but essentially it's a set of emails that are sent at a regular interval or a spaced apart that actually build a connection with that particular person that has signed up for your email list. And the reason it's called a nurture sequence is that it's not about you. It's not about saying all these things about you. Yes, they want to know a little bit about you, but they want to know that you understand them, that you can help them explore the problem they're facing, and that you have tools, tips, and ideas on how to solve this problem. So I think that's why, for me, a nurture sequence is wonderful, because in a couple of short emails, you can actually help that person understand that they've come to the right place. Last one is, which email marketing service is best? And another way of saying this is, which email autoresponder should I choose? Now, there are a lot of services out there. A lot of them are free, but not all of them are usable and easy to work with. So what I suggest is, if you are in the startup phase of business, what you want to do is to use a tool that's not only fit for purpose, but that actually grows as you grow in your confidence and competence with that tool, but that is something that can stay with you for at least the first year of business. There will then come a time, probably later, once you get past about 1,000 users in your list, that you're looking for something different. But in the beginning, for me, the one that I recommend the most is MailerLite. And the reason I choose MailerLite for my startup businesses is that it is free to 1,000 users. It has a drag and drop visual editor. So it's like working in a word processor when you're creating your email sequences. It makes it easy to also understand what I call automation. So those email sequences, it actually helps you build it one step at a time. And what we do know is that when it feels easy, it feels doable, and then we start to enjoy the process and we let go of our fear of technology. So take a look at MailerLite if you haven't already, and consider that as your starting point, because it is much easier to use than most of the others that are free, but it does scale with your business, and that's really important. So thanks for listening. Bye for now. And remember, let's live the fab life together.